Oh man, you gotta love it. You gotta absolutely love it. Eagles are 13-1. Some updates for the Philadelphia Eagles. Got a few things to talk about, and obviously some things we kind of talked about yesterday, but wanted to kind of elaborate on some extra things, which should be cool. So let's get into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I hope you guys are enjoying your Victory Monday as of right now. And, kind of watch the press conferences, wanting to kind of be like, hey, is there anything new? Is there anything that we could find out about what has changed, why the offense played like they did, and the defense has been playing so good? So props to Jonathan Gannon. I can't believe I'm saying this for the past few weeks, and never thought it would get better. And it really has been, really since, I'd say really after the turnaround of the, after the turnaround probably after the Colts game, probably Tennessee, in that area where the defense was just playing so much better. I mean, the Colts game is where I think that's where we ended up getting Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh in the mix, which definitely helped that defensive line a lot more, lessen the snaps of players like Fletcher Cox that's playing a lot better this year. But Hassan Reddick has been a gem, has been what we needed him to be. And not because of him, it's because of this scheme. And I didn't know what Gannon was going to do. If Reddick didn't have a 10-sack season plus, 10-plus sack season, it would have been a failed season. And he already has 12 sacks for the year, which is nuts. The whole entire defensive line with Sweat with 9.5, Brandon Graham with 8.5. I mean, you are close to having 4 defensive linemen with 10-plus sacks, double-digit sacks for the year, which is absolutely amazing. And Reddick actually had his press conference post-game and even talked, I don't know if it was post-game or it was this morning, I couldn't tell which one it was, but talked about Jonathan Gannon, and during games, which we didn't really know, kind of find out more about this defense and how the coaching is going with Gannon. Their players are actually going up to Gannon, and Gannon actually wants feedback during games. So it's not this stuck-up defensive coordinator that's literally like, I'm going to run my defense the way I want, and no one's going to tell me what to do. Like, Reddick even said, like, he wants feedback during games and what should I call here, or, how to use certain players. Like, this is a great thing. I'm not saying that Gannon was always stuck up or anything like that. I don't think he was ever like that. This probably has been going on. We just never really heard it verbally from a player. But to see that Gannon is really, getting the feedback from his players and, just going out there and getting it done, it's a great thing to really hear. And it makes me more comfortable going forward because, to be honest with you, it's all about the rhythm. Once the Eagles start that stunt process on the defensive line, once they start doing those stunts, like after that first stunt, which resulted in a sack, the rhythm just got better. And I feel like it's just the defense is always in rhythm. Really, other than that blown coverage, and obviously because of some of the offensive mistakes, which really put the defense in a really bad position, which I can't blame the defense too much at all. I thought they played well. They have been playing dominant. If they're able to get pressure with that 4-man front, I am telling you, this defense is going to be even more dangerous. And they've been more consistent with that the past few weeks. We're always afraid of that bend, don't break, Gannon defense where they're just sitting back and trying to tackle everything inside. They waste more time on the clock. But I have to say, Gannon has done a really good job. I don't know if it was Marcus Brady. I know the hiring of Marcus Brady to help Gannon, I don't know if that's a part of it. I don't know if I think the coaching is just better, and I think maybe Gannon has opened up to his players a little bit more than he probably didn't as much early in the season. I mean, we saw a different defense early in the season, just letting teams back in. And even though the Bears came back into this game, our offense put barely any points in the first half. So it really did hurt us. But at the same time, I like how Gannon is really taking feedback from the players, and is really reaching out to everybody during games. This isn't just game plan before the game during the week. This is on game day that this is happening. And Reddick can go up to Gannon and say, I think we should do this. I'm seeing something different here. And Gannon will change that. So it's a really good thing, man. I'm really happy the way this defense. I didn't expect almost 4 defensive linemen, with double-digit sacks almost. And, best corners in football. The secondary is great. And you still have a couple players you're getting back in this defense the next few weeks. So this is going to get kind of crazy. So that I was really excited to talk about because I thought that was awesome. I thought that was really cool. Now, as I talked about the other day with Jalen Hurts and really him getting hit so much, the unnecessary hits that really pissed me off, like the one time where he went on the ground. Apparently Jordan Mailata would try to, Jordan Mailata went up to him when he was on the ground and said, stay down. And Jalen Hurts said, pick me the F up. And then Mailata was like, yes, sir, and picked him back up. It really scared me a little bit. It really did scare me because he was getting hit. He was getting twisted around a lot. He took some big hits. I understand it's football. I understand that the quarterbacks are going to get hit. But, with Miles Sanders sitting back there, that's what I'm kind of getting into this whole, why don't you use Miles Sanders that much? Are the Eagles trying to just save Miles Sanders and not run him down? He has over 1,000 yards now. So is there a plan behind the scenes with Miles Sanders saying, hey, we're not going to try to run you too much. We're going to lock up the East. We're going to lock up that first seed. We're going to give Miles Sanders as much rest as possible to have full juice for the playoffs. And that could be, but, they went into that Bears game. The defense for the Bears, the cornerbacks, they were just going to get picked on. Simple as that. I mean, they literally, they were down. They don't have the best cornerbacks. They want to pick on those corners all day. They tried to score quick. They were lobbing balls up. They were throwing deep balls. They were just trying to get something done. But with the weather conditions and everything else, that probably wasn't expected. Or maybe they did expect it, but didn't think it would make a big difference or cause a huge problem for this offense. I mean, they're throwing deep balls on second down. 3rd and 2, they throw a deep ball. I mean, I just didn't get it on why Miles Sanders didn't get barely any carries. I forgot what the numbers were, but it wasn't much, obviously. It's already enough you don't have Boston Scott doing anything because he's more of a kick returner than really getting a snap at running back anymore. And Kenneth Gainwell had a couple receiving yards. He ran the ball a couple times, nothing much there. But they really strayed away from it. So are they trying to conserve Miles Sanders, his energy, and not trying to run him down? Because he's going to be well needed, guys, for the playoffs. So just think of it. If Miles Sanders, just say, knock on wood, Miles Sanders gets an injury, yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot because you really, I'm not saying Gainwell can't be your workhorse, but I don't think he could do that. And Boston Scott definitely can't do that. Okay, these are rotational guys, but Miles Sanders is your workhorse going into the playoffs. This is a contract year for Miles Sanders. It's been a great year for Miles Sanders. And there has been rumors that the Eagles conserved the snaps for Miles because of where they are at 13-1, well, at 12-1 at the time, and then after the win, 13-1, and because they have a chance to lock up the East and obviously the number 1 seed soon. So that could have been the plan behind it. It's not like we saw Miles Sanders pissed off or saying I didn't get enough carries or whatever the case, because this team is very unselfish at the end of the day. So I want to know from you guys, do you think Miles Sanders was conserved, not used that much on purpose? Okay. The last thing is the Dallas Cowboys. They clinched. They're going to the playoffs. They clinched with help. That's just the way it is. The Giants won last night, and they ended up clinching. They needed that win from the Giants since the Cowboys choked against the Jaguars with that 2 picks from Dak. I think it was they blew a 27-10 lead. I forgot what it was, but it was really embarrassing. Now, this just made it more interesting. I kind of talked about this yesterday. So now the Eagles, since the Dallas Cowboys are 3 games behind, they just have to win one more game. They can win one more game. They win against the Cowboys on Saturday, Christmas Eve. They clinch the number 1 seed, and they win the division, okay, which is great. They can literally kill 2 birds with 1 stone in one game. If the Eagles lose this game, then all they have to do is really win against the Saints or the Giants, and they still get the division, and they still get the number 1 seed regardless, okay? Now, there are some things going around like, oh, the Eagles should sit some of their players for this Cowboys game, or they should rest up and face an easier. I was just like, why? Do I think that this game isn't as exciting now for Christmas Eve? Probably not. The viewership's probably going to go down. It's probably going to be the most exciting game. I still am excited for it, but because the Cowboys lose in that game, it just makes it not as much exciting as it was, because now it's just there's no pressure in that game now. If the Cowboys won that game was going to be a huge game on Christmas Eve for the division. Huge game. Okay? So now because the Cowboys lost, it's just not saying there's no meaning to it. It's just that the pressure is way off of that game now, because the Eagles could win one of the 3 games coming up to win the East and obviously get that first seed, that first week bye that we really need, and have these playoff games come through Philadelphia. That's what's going to be really important. So there are actually fans saying, let's rest some of our guys this week. I'm not resting nobody this week. I am not resting one player this week. It's just not happening. It's not. Some people are thinking, oh, let's just rest our players because there's a big chance the Cowboys could meet us in the playoffs for a 3rd time, and you don't want to face this team 3 times, especially in the division, which I definitely agree with. I wouldn't want to face a team 3 times. I mean, then you really have to game plan differently, and you really have to show your worth, really. I mean, you're going to have to just show toughness in that 3rd game. If the Eagles face the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs, 3rd matchup, then it's really going to be like they're just going to have to figure out different type of game plan. It's just there's only so much you could show. You know what I mean? So I totally get it. But the other hand of it now is, the Cowboys still have to play the Titans. The Cowboys have been looming since that Colts game, running up the score in that Colts game, that false hope of running the score up, padding their stats with the passing, okay? Being down a couple points with 4 minutes left in the 4th quarter, and then Matt Ryan pretty much chokes the bed. They put their backups in, and that was pretty much it. And then going to the Texans game, almost losing that. And then really it led up to this Jaguars game where they completely choked. December is where the Cowboys don't play well, and that's just a fact. Now, going to this game, we'll see what happens Saturday, but I expect 100% players to play. Dallas Goedert comes back this week, so I expect a lot more. And that's pretty much it. I'm happy. I'm good to go. We're ready. Take this division, take this number 1 seed this week, get it done. And then the Eagles got to make big decisions after this week with the Saints. The Saints ended up winning. So that pick is at, I think, 8 or 9. I think. As of right now, it's still a top 10 pick, so the Eagles will have to make a decision. They beat the Dallas Cowboys this week on Christmas Eve. They really have to figure out what they're doing for the Saints game. Which, if I could completely guess what they're doing, they're gonna play all their players for the Christmas Eve game. They're going to fully start all their players for the Saints game. And I think they're just going to rest everybody the last game. I don't think they're going to do like a half or a quarter. It's a great idea, but I just don't think they're going to play a half for the Saints or a quarter, whatever the case may be. I still think there's some backups that can play for this team that could probably beat the Saints. But, we're focused on Dallas this week. We'll see what they do. Obviously, I don't know why fans are saying the rest players this week. Why? Yeah, they don't necessarily, yes, 100%. They don't need this game. They don't. This game is for bragging rights and obviously another win in the division. That's really all this game is for this week. Because other than that, there's no other pressure on this game Saturday. There's no pressure. The Cowboys fans might make it like there's a lot of pressure on them because they have to start playing better. Like you're at the end of the year and you're playing like how you played against the Colts, how you played against the Texans, and now the Jaguars that led up to that big loss in overtime. Giving up that much of a big lead and getting to overtime, and didn't look good. So, a lot to think about for them, but for us, it's the pressure is always on us because we're the top team in the NFL with the best record. That's just what it is. But I have every faith as possible with Jalen Hurts and this defense, and that's just what it is, man. So, I will talk to you guys on the next one. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video if you guys have it. And thank you so much, everybody, for checking out all the content. We will be back for more updates tomorrow. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shake Squad up, follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.